Sorry, everybody. Uh, the bug got me. Had to jump back on and do a bit of practice against Abyss Watchers. Had a really good run and unfortunately managed to managed to kill him off stream, which is very depressing. Uh, so uh, where's the soul? Huh, don't even know where the soul is. Could be that though. Soul of the blood of the wolf, as in wolves of Faron. Oh yeah, amongst the Abyss Watchers and the souls, one with the soul of the Wolf Blood Master. So that's a bit unfortunate. Yeah, I guess I'll just recap it. So the first phase, like I said in the last stream, was down pretty well. Um, as long as I don't get greedy in it, I can pretty much do it, no damage. Um, Being patient with it, it's not too hard, and I do a fair amount of DPS. Um, See, the first phase wasn't really the issue at all. It was a second phase. The trick was, I'm pretty sure most of my deaths were because I went in to punish a charge attack, um, and either that killed me or it just sort of got me on tilt because I know I'm supposed to do it, and I just start playing bad. And the other thing is too, if you're too close when that attack lands, I think you're just too close to him. Um, so yeah, I just focused on not punishing that, keep moving away, and then slowly closing the distance until I can trigger his chain attack. Um, and I was using charcoal pine resin and my skill, as you can see in the top left, the Warcry, just to get a bit of extra DPS. I think it was two backstabs and two subsequent hits that did him. So really short fight, and my plan was to practice it to the point where I could do it quite well, and then stop and then stream it. I was actually just about to start the stream in the next attempt, but yeah, so that's a bit unfortunate. It was a great fight. It would have been great to have gotten it on stream, but the previous attempts, I think a couple of them, when I start to figure out the backstab, gives a pretty good indication of how that goes down. Um, Yeah, and phase two isn't like it's pretty dramatic, but it's not long. It's basically two of my attack sequences, and it's done. Yeah, pretty happy with the DPS. I think that I can do. And yeah, sorry about that. I'm as cut up as I suspect anyone might be, because that's a great fight, and I reckon that most probably that fight gets a lot of praise in the community. I think the first phase is exceptional. It is just beautifully done, um, and it was a great problem to solve. I think it is really solvable. I don't think that. I think if you were to use the strategy I picked up, there's absolutely no reason why you can't consistently get through it 100% of the time. Um, as long as you don't get greedy. Um, yeah, it just leaves nothing down to chance. And then phase two, honestly, I think I would have liked to have gotten a bit better at phase two. I didn't do it damageless, as you can see. Went down to 3 flasks. I think in the first phase I used 3 or 4 because I got greedy at the end. It was kind of in the back of my mind that I sort of wanted to stream the next attempt, um, and I was getting a little bit impatient, so I took a few hits, and then I was probably like 3 to 4 flasks in the final fight, as well. Uh, yeah, but that so one of the things I alluded to in the last stream is that my goal was to sort of figure out the sweet spot of where I should be running around him, where it will trigger the um, the chain attack, his sort of big sweeping attacks and his big flip. Um, and if you can trigger that consistently, you will get the backstab up, um, and you can hit him twice after that pretty reliably. In fact, I don't really think I've been punished for hitting him twice in his second phase. I think it's been pretty consistently good. He'll often either he'll sort of pause after the second hit, or he'll back away after the second hit, and you'll have plenty of time to get out of there. I think after the first backstab, I did get hit. I rolled once, and then he did do a sort of delayed attack, and I sort of rolled too early. So my second roll for the delayed attack, I rolled too early, and I did cop a hit. Yeah, so I think having, playing that more, I think would have been good just to really master that second phase. But a win's a win. I did it. I did indeed. And yeah, so I'm not going to stream any more today, I don't think. My next goal for the stream is to start putting the VODs up on YouTube just so they're permanently there. Because I've only got, I think, 14 days, and I've been doing this for a little over a week now, I think. So I'm hoping the first VODs are still up. Yeah, they should be. They should be. I think it's probably, last week were the first streams, yeah. And yeah, so I'll put the VODs up. I will be looking to set a schedule. So my time, which is Australian Eastern Standard Time, it'll likely be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afternoons. Wednesday might be a bit touch and go if I have plans. That might change things, or if I finish work a bit late, it might change things. But on the other hand, some Wednesdays I'll be able to push on well into the evening. I think once a month I'll get a full free Wednesday evening where I can do a pretty big stream. It's probably like, 6-ish hours, I'd say 5 to 6 hours, which will be really good. And yeah, and then once on the weekends as well, I'll try to stream. Doesn't feel like quite enough. I was really frothing for it today. I had to jump back on. I feel as though, I really got, ideally, if this was a weekend, I would have pushed on last night and got him. But yeah, I was sort of, I needed to get to bed for work. So, yeah. Alright, well, I'll be posting updates on the Dark Souls community Facebook page as well. I think my updates are up to Road to Sacrifices, and I actually think Road to Sacrifices is my favourite area so far. I'll have a look. It's massive too, and it's interesting because it encompasses, Road to Sacrifices encompasses Farron Keep. Even though Farron Keep seems to be its own area, which is a bit odd. But yeah, that was a great area. I think we found three really good challenging mob enemies. The Black Knight in the Crucifixion Woods was an excellent challenge. I thought he was great. Every single attack was a one-shot. Had to really learn it. And then the crabs as well. I found the trick with the crabs is just to make sure you have a good zone to fight in. Being close to him all the time isn't great. What I found was trying to, once you're comfortable with one of his attack sequences, moving in and getting behind him and getting a hit is good, and then not getting too greedy with it, because you can really turn on a dime if you let him, and just getting out of there and repeating it. But to do that, you really need a lot of space, and the second crab fight you encounter is in the Farron Keep swamp, and that problem gets really accentuated because you have two elements. You have a significantly higher density of trees, you have the bog, which slows you down, and as a bonus element you actually have the dogs as well, because what you want to do is you want to pull the crab in towards this bridge with arches underneath it, and that's there's a strip there which is about as open as it gets, and it's a really premium place to fight him. Yeah. So anywho, happy with defeating Abyss Watchers, happy with the fight, happy with what I learnt. Very unhappy that I didn't get it on stream. I think that was the first real fight in this game, and it would have been great to have captured it. And I think I know better for next time. You know, if I'm gonna practice off stream, just not get carried away, not get greedy. I went in for that last backstab, and I'm just like, oh, he's got no health left. He's gonna die, and he died. Sadly. But yeah. What we'll do probably actually is just to set the next section up. I do want to discover what the next area is. Wow, so what, that's just hidden. I guess you got the bloodstains there. I figured that there would be a pathway somewhere out of Pharaon Keep because I scoured catacombs across 2 really long streams, and I think I 100% of the place. Be wary of mob enemy. Try shortcut. So did I get a name on this area? This is a pretty spectacular looking entrance to a level. Feels classic Gears of War 2. Where would you hide if you were Queen of the Grubs? At the bottom. Shortcut. Alright, well I won't push into here that much. I am holstering a shit ton of souls. I have encountered skeletons before in the Undercroft of Carthus Rouge, in the Undercroft of Undead Settlement. Interestingly, they didn't respawn, but this guy kind of looks like he doesn't want to respawn now. So maybe it takes 2 deaths to despawn them. I think I'll also have to pay attention to the soul transfer to see if they're properly dying. Yeah, new area there. Looks quite cool. Had someone in chat yesterday saying that the area after Abyss Watchers is just wrecked. If anyone is in chat now, by the way, I'm sorry I can't see you. I don't have my stream manager up. I apologize.
How may...
Buy a bit more of this.
Ashen.
Not really fussed with embering. I haven't used it once for a boss fight yet. I've accumulated a heap of Titanite shards. I don't actually have... Oh, I have a rapier. 12 dex. So I'll be on the lookout for some dex weapons. I do think that the rapier, for some bosses, say in Dark Souls 2, is utterly broken as a weapon. But... yeah, this is a first playthrough and it is a challenge run, and I'm not going to be so proud as to not use it if I need to. But then again, I'm not at all sure. I'm not at all sure what I can expect from it, if it's any good or not. 104 base damage for a fast, most probably a fast weapon, looks pretty hectic. This is not infused. It is a +1 rapier, but it's not. You know, if I look at my +4 club, I think it's at 220, and it's a fairly slowish weapon, and it's raw as well. This has got DC scaling as well, so I'm interested to see what Raw gives you. I suspect, well, at least I'd hope it's quite a lot. Oh yeah, I actually picked this up. Red Hilted Halberd. Like how it's got a name. Perseverance looks nice. I'm thinking the weapon skills in this game are a really interesting opportunity to try out quite a bit of stuff. Charge. Amazing. I haven't done a spear or lance playthrough of any of these games, and I'm aware of them in Dark Souls 2. Some of the NPCs wield them. I've seen some streamers use them as well, and it just looks like an absolute meme of a weapon. It looks completely broken, especially for my playstyle, which is quite cautious. Looking for good attack windows, and just belting them with something ballistic like this would be a lot of fun, I think. Deep battle axe. I'll have to give the battle axe a go. I think that I can wield it. Yes, I can two-hand it. Actually, so is this slash? How do I tell? That is so much dark damage. That's insane. This is only +1, and it has 212 damage. That is ridiculous. This is a Brigand Axe +1, and it doesn't do anywhere near that. That looks broken. I actually might upgrade this. Wow. So the shot. It's like I'm getting booted. My internet hasn't been very good today. My connection. Yeah, axes should be slash. They were in Dark Souls 2. Okay, hammer strike. So, standard. Ooh, okay. The standard doesn't sound that great. I'm guessing you're sacrificing a bit of I reckon that'd be pretty decent at mobs and bosses where I can't poise break. Fairly slow attack speed. And I like the R2 actually. That R2 is really quick. Yeah, that might be decent for bosses that don't have very long attack windows and have quite a bit of poise. I can just dance around, do an R2, get out of there. Cool looking weapon as well. I haven't used the battle axe in any of the games. My weapons of choice for Dark Souls 2 SL1 were... I didn't actually use the club. I used the hand axe, the mace, large club, rapier, and ice. Oh, it's actually not the regular rapier. I used the ice rapier, which I think is a mistake. Actually, I reckon that the rapier might actually be better for SL1. Taking it to raw, and in doing a resin on it would most probably be the better option. Yeah, they're the weapons I used, and I know that you can use a broadsword, longsword in this kind of playthrough. Still got my useless raw club here. Uh, Interestingly, durability on the reinforced club is massively weaker than that on the regular club. It's half. But I haven't had problems with it at all. And honestly, like, when it comes to regular mobs, I don't know if DPS really is the answer. I'll probably have a few weapons I can use, and if something does break in the middle of a big level, I'll just switch it out. No big deal. So that's interesting. The FP cost on this is much lower. I wonder if the FP cost of the skill... Oh, okay, so it's just a different one. It's Perseverance. I'd actually like to play around with that. I probably, So I had 12 Titanite shards. I think that was enough exactly to take Deep Battle Axe to +3. So I'll see if I can get a bit more. I'll probably start looking at the mace, which I can wield, which is nice. Large club has quite a massive strength requirement. If I can get to a +5 strength item, yeah, I think it has to be +5, because +4 would be 21 two-handing. The large club is just an absolute game changer, I think, in SL1 if you can wield it with Dark Souls 2, because you can pancake very difficult to deal with enemies. So in particular, there's 2 areas in that game where I think it's absolutely critical. The reindeer in Frigid Outskirts, you can pancake them with a large club stone ring, and the charred Loist Knights in Burnt Ivory King. Even with stone ring and something like a mace or a club, or I guess I just know about the mace, or hand axe, you don't really do that much stagger damage to them, and you don't damage them much at all with anything in Soul Level 1. So your best bet is, if you can't kill them outright, at least you should be able to hit them and create space for yourself, and that's what the large club does perfectly. And you can pancake 2 at a time if you get them lined up right, which is just utterly... yeah, I mean, in that fight, unless... you can do 2 things in that fight. You can be a little bit more aggressive with the large club. You can kind of stick a bit closer to them. If you're going to use something like the hand axe or mace, you do have to run around a lot in that fight. And it does lengthen the first part enormously, which can be a problem because your allies can die in that fight, and if they do, like the second phase is going to be hard, like really, really hard. Yeah. Butcher knife. I don't think I'll be able to wield that, even with +5 strength. Which honestly, I don't even know if I can get to. One thing I would like to play around with is figuring out how rolls really do actually work. Like, I'm not wearing very much at all. Honestly, this is just for fashion. It's not particularly for anything specific. Like putting on the deacon robe or something like that. The fire resistance looks pretty special. Or even the conjugator robe, actually. Antiquated dress as well would have been a great option in that fight with that fire res. I did actually so I'll show you the rings as well. I dropped my blue tear stone ring, which is just garbage. Like, it's not I wouldn't say that's a real meta choice in any to any degree, because it's not going to help you in a boss fight, and it's only going to help you if you're kind of scrappy in a mob fight. in which case, you know, just stop getting hit. Or put on some more defensive stuff in the first place. So yeah, put in the Flamestone Plate Ring, just to give me a bit of an edge. You know, like, even if it saves me once every few, like, say 5-10 hits I take from the guy, if it saves my life once, it's well worth it. Keeps me in the game, so I figured I'd put that on. And later on in the piece, I did actually equip my Lloyd Sword and Chloranthy Ring. I'm really rating the Lloyd Sword. I think it's excellent in Soul Level 1, especially when I'm not getting one-shot by stuff. And the reason why is 1 Estus heal is a full heal. So there are going to be very few times where I'm hitting anything at lower health. Yeah, so really like that. Flynn's Ring. I will have to play around, see how much this stuff actually does. Yeah. I don't think there are really any other rings. I did actually have the Poison Bite ring on for a lot of that fight. This might have also been an option. I don't know if that applies to resined items. I'll have to have a play around with it. But I'd almost be tempted to put that on. If I was getting really good at that fight. I don't know though, actually, because with these current rings, I'm not taking any detriment to the damage I take. And I only needed backstab him twice and hit him 4 times to win the fight, so I don't actually think extra DPS would have helped at all. Yeah, alright, well, if you're watching this VOD, thank you for watching. Yeah, sorry that I didn't stream the fight. That is just a travesty, really. We got it done, and that's what really matters. But yeah, like, I'm well aware that there's no way of confirming, like, I didn't use a summon. Like, a summon probably would have helped with the second phase if you can get it to aggro the summon. But I don't use summons. This game kind of seems to give you enough help as it is. But unfortunately, there's no way of confirming that, and unfortunately, it was a glorious fight, and there's no record of it. Very sad. I guess fitting in a way for Dark Souls. That fight will be forever lost to the abyss. But I'll do another Soul Level 1 playthrough, most probably. I really love playing the game this way, and I can't see myself not doing that again. So yeah, we'll have another go at it. Alright, well, if you're live, sorry I can't see you, sorry I'm not in chat, can't see anything. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the VOD, thanks for watching as well. Thanks for listening to me. And yeah, catch everyone in the next one.